Hey guys, sorry I had a frog in my throat. Welcome to the Creative Garden. So today I'm sharing with you my curry leaf tree, and it is the leaves that are used in cooking. And I've had this tree for it's been about 2 years, and it has more than exceeded my expectations in a plant that I've never grown before. I brought it as a small plant, and you can see this one here. So I brought it like that, and it's now grown a lot bigger. I've even had to cut it back. I had some issues with some, I think they were black fly, and what they do is when it starts to produce its flowers, they start to cluster around that, and then the ants come, and then they're farming, and so I had to cut it right back, and it's just sprung up. It's been amazing. I was a bit hesitant to cut it at first because I wondered how it would grow. I wanted to shape it a bit better, so I am probably going to cut it back and shape it to the way that I want. I don't really want it to take up more than the space that it's got here. But what's also happened is that once it's produced its flowers, it does produce seeds, and they're edible. I think they're red seeds. I've not seen it on here. I've seen the flowers, and then suddenly I've got a whole load of mini plants pop up. But they produce like a berry, a deep red berry that apparently is edible. And yeah, and then the seeds. But as I say, I've not seen the seeds, but I've had the result of many. They've obviously appeared when I'm not looking, and then they drop, and we now have about 30 mini plants around this tree, and I have to sit down for this. So the first one that I had was, I put it in a pot, and it's grown so wild that it's probably dropped some seeds as well. It has flowered, but look at these. Now they don't really like being disturbed. I have when I first saw them, I distributed mini plants around the garden. So I've got one that's grown really well. The rest have died. I've tried, you really have to be careful with them when you try and move the seedlings like this. You can propagate them from the seeds, as I've said, and you can take cuttings. But yeah, it's been really nice to be able to use this. Again, it's one of those plants that I've always wanted. It's native in India and apparently Australia and in Barbados. um, I've seen a few other. The person that I got this from, she has lots of lovely, interesting plants. If you check out the Chi Center, you'll come across her. She's an organic plant seller, and I too just pick everything off by hand and use organic means to deal with the pests. And if you can hear, one of the great ways of being able to do that is having the birds. And the treats that I give the birds are behind us there. It's a pomegranate tree, so they get all of the top fruit. They eat out the fruit and then they drop. And I've got to spend some time this morning collecting. That's why you see the bag there. I've got to collect all of the discarded outer shell, not shell really, but outer skin, because you don't want to leave anything for the rats. There are rats in gardens, but you can keep their population down. And I've just recently found a natural remedy, apparently, rather than using the rat bait. It's equal amounts of salt, flour, and sugar, and you put a bit of detergent in it to make a paste. And then if they eat that, then they get dehydrated and then die off. And then you've just got to remove their carcass. But look how far, look under here. All of these are the curry leaf plants. So I am gonna spot some of these around the rest of the garden. They like semi-shade. So this particular point gets, because of the house in the back, it casts a lot of shade up until say 12 o'clock, and then it will get full sun, as we can see, and then as it sets in the west, there's more plants that will cast shade. But this seems like an ideal position for it. So I would suggest, yeah, semi-shade. The other one that I've got growing is growing again in semi-shade. But yeah, it looks really healthy. And what I'll probably do is spray it with some neem oil, just as a deterrent for the next time when it starts to flower. Yeah, and the other thing I'm going to do, yeah, as I said, I'm going to move some of these because they're actually in the path and they're going to grow as trees, so I want to move them in spaces where they can do that without any interruption. You've got all of these and some really, really tiny ones. Look, all of these. So these are the ones that I would usually take up and put in pots to try and grow them. But as I say, I've not really had much luck in terms of putting them in pots as yet. But perhaps it's the watering, and I need to make sure that they're in a more shaded position, especially for their first, say, month. But yeah, my curry leaf tree, or curry tree. Let me stand up. Oh. So these can grow as tall as you allow them. But I think this is a nice height for me. This is about 5'8". Yeah, I'm 5'8". So yes, maybe just 6 foot. I'll allow it to grow, a bit higher up there, because I want to be able to harvest the leaves and keep it under control. I don't want the spread to go anymore. But yeah, so I hope that's been useful for you if you've never seen it before. It's fairly easy to grow. I've not had to, as I said, it's proper. I've got all of these new plants that it's dropped from the seeds. It's very humid here. When it gets really hot, I think we're in a drought period at the moment, and when it gets really hot, even though we're in the rainy season, they droop slightly. But as I say, because it's in a semi-shaded position, it seems to be thriving, and so do the young plants. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please leave them below. Please say hi in the comments. Let me know where you are and what you're growing, and I look forward to seeing you soon.